80 years of Frida Lyngstad. This week we are celebrating Anni-Frid all week long. And in this particular new video tonight, we are going to talk about the music that she made, and especially the music before ABBA. These precious recordings, her first singles and her first album. Our focus will be on this very compilation from 1997, which combines all of that early work from Frida Lyngstad, basically including her very first album from 1971. We'll talk about that very soon. But have you seen my video from yesterday about Frida's birth, her childhood in Norway and Sweden? And I was just thinking about it once again, and I thought to myself, what are the chances for all these coincidences and fate of events, really? Like that first coincidence already, this man from Karlsruhe in Germany comes all the way to Norway. Then he meets this Norwegian woman, Frida's future mother. And then that coincidence that Sunni, Frida's future mother, decides against the wishes of her family and of her sister, who said to her, please end that relationship. But Sunni said, no, I will be going forward with that love affair. What are the chances? And then another stroke of events that actually the war itself forces Alfred Haase to leave Norway, to leave the country, and he then decides to visit that Norwegian woman one last time, and for the very first time overnight, that night where they conceive a child that turns out to be Frida in the end. What are the chances for all of that? I think this is an incredible story. We will continue with that story of Frida's early years, her upbringing and influences. More videos will be coming on Wednesday and Thursday. But today, it's all about music. It's all about Frida's music before ABBA. This compilation from 1997 combines all of her first 8 singles, 16 songs, the first album from 1971, and all subsequent magnificent final singles right before ABBA turned up. And I will go through this album, through those singles, through the first album, and talk about my favorites, my personal highlights. From those first 8 standalone singles, the first 16 songs, I think it is very hard to pick a favorite because there are so many precious recordings here. And if I should choose one, I would say definitely the very first song of Frida, the very first recording, and Ledig Dag, as well as Peter Pan, which is the first song that any of the ladies would record, which was written by Björn and Benny. And when you go through these songs, Peter Pan is the 13th song on this album. When you go through the songs, you listen to all of them, there is something with Peter Pan, some magic from the instant get-go, where you feel this is a special composition. There is something going on here. It's written by Björn and Benny and recorded by Frida, and there's just some magic in that recording. But if we talk about the other songs of those first 8 singles, there are many treasures here, and Frida's voice shines. It's sensitive, it's sensual, it's very strong, it's nuanced, and it's warm like a blanket. And the 4th song is so much joy. The 6th song is beautifully sang with so much tenderness. The 9th song is also again one of those beautiful compositions and a beautiful delivery by Frida. This one was performed by Frida in the pre-selection for the Eurovision Song Contest in the Swedish Melody Festival in 1969. Didn't go to Eurovision, but makes you realize that it was a strong composition, after all, to be included in that early competition, and is one of my big favorites. But one of my biggest favorites is the 11th track. This is a great recording, and there is also one of those rare early live versions of that song from a radio broadcast.
Det är alltid svårt att ta farväl, men det finns ett måste lika väl. Om du kunde stanna här ändå, så synd du måste gå. Sommarnatten är så ljuv men kort, redan drar den sista skuggan bort. Redan färgas sommarhimlen blå, så synd du måste gå. Se solen igen, och jag önskar att vi fick gå.
After those 16 songs, this compilation continues with Frida's very first entire studio album from 1971, which I still think doesn't get talked about very often. And I still think, and I will continue to say, Frida's album from 1971, her self-titled album Frida, is one of those early masterpieces. It was produced by Benny Andersson, and like Frida Ensam, the second album from 1975, this first album has Frida's interpretations, cover versions, cover songs, 11 incredible recordings. This is one powerful album. I have it here on vinyl, and this is the reissue from 1972. The original release came with this picture in full and was a beautiful gatefold, as far as I know the only gatefold of any of Frida's solo LPs. So this is the re-release, but the original release from 1971, from 1 year earlier, has this beautiful artwork picture of Frida, like Ensam, not only with the cover versions, but like Ensam, this artwork is very sensual as well. And so is the album. If you guys should be a little afraid of listening to those songs because they are in Swedish, I said it before, and this goes for this album, this goes for the first singles, for the other singles, for all of this early period of Frida, and Agneta as well. Don't be afraid and listen to the music, listen to the voice. The lyrics, the words doesn't really matter. Don't care about the Swedish. Listen to these songs, to these recordings. You will discover magnificent work. And from this first album, I could single out every single song. We did a deep dive on this channel about Frida from 1971. If I should choose two favorites, it might be Lycka, another song written by Björn and Benny initially, here re-recorded by Frida for the album, and the closing track, Barnen Sover. There is such a melancholia, a reflectiveness, and it's pure beauty. So if you ever want to sit down and just relax, listen to Frida from 1971. The compilation from 1997 is such a precious release. Once again, I am, for whatever reason, I'm always promoting releases like with the ABBA Deluxe editions, with the Gemini albums on CD, and with this compilation I'm always promoting releases which are long out of print and which are so hard to find, unfortunately. But I hope there will be re-releases. I hope someone sees these videos. Maybe, you never know. But I have to talk about these releases from the past, and those are some of the greatest releases. And this one not only combines, as I said, the first singles, the first album, but also Frida's singles, which were released right after the first album until 1972, right before ABBA came up. And I could single out, when it comes to highlights from those final singles, final Swedish singles, virtually every single song. All the subsequent singles are tremendous. The duets with Lars Berghagen, once again, so beautifully melancholic. And then all the singles written by Björn and Benny, produced by Benny. On those final recordings, you have all 4 future members of ABBA on backing vocals, and when you listen to them, when you listen to this album, to this compilation in chronological order, and those final songs come up, it's obvious. You can feel this is the way to ABBA. You get the full ABBA sound, the full ABBA feeling with those final singles. It's tremendous. And then this compilation does have a few bonus tracks as well, unreleased recordings. First of all, it has a magnificent live version of Barn and Sover. Again, with the future members of ABBA. This was one of the performances for radio as Festfolk, and this solo song was performed. And then the bonus selection of this compilation comes with a selection of Frida's recordings for TV performances. And one of my big favorites, and I think is a fan favorite as well, is the song Att älska i vårens tid.
Det är att älska i vårens tid, mötas någonstans under lyktors vita sken, ströva bland främmande människor, alldeles som om det bara fanns vi två. Titta i fönster och stanna och önska och le och drömma, låtsas som inte någon ser när vi kysser varandra.
Listen to it and please come back with your thoughts and opinion in the comment section below. This is Frida, 1967 till 1972, Frida's music before ABBA. But I don't want to neglect in this video everything else that Frida has done. We are talking about this very first album, solo album. Frida has 5 solo albums, of course. This is the first one here, but we also, I have to mention for completeness sake, of course, Frida's following solo album from 1975, Frida Ensam. Picking favorites, Fernando, the opening track, and the closing song, her Swedish version of Send in the Clowns. This is one of the great highlights in Frida's entire career. For me personally, her version of Send in the Clowns, it is to melt away. And the album is as well, Frida Ensam, and we will be doing a standalone video on this album as well, if not very soon. Just yesterday we were celebrating the 50th anniversary of Frida Ensam from 1975. These first 2 albums were her Swedish albums, but of course in 1996 Djupa Andetag was a final album, her final solo album to date. It's 30 years ago next year, and has Frida returning to Swedish language, and is one of those other magnificent works. Djupa Andetag, and of course in between we have these solo albums from the 80s, Something's Going On and Shine. And we have standalone videos about those 2 albums on the channel. So for this video, The focus was on her early work, on Frida's early work preceding ABBA. And I would like to know, of course, from you guys, what do you think of Frida's early recordings, of her first singles, of her very first album, Frida, from 1971? And in any case, let me know which of her solo albums are your favorites, which solo songs or that one specific solo song is your favorite from Frida Lyngstad's solo career. This is all about the music from Frida, with focus on this particular video on Frida's early work. So we are celebrating Frida's 80th birthday this week. Let's celebrate her in the comment section below. Thank you for watching and see you very soon this week. Alright, until then, hej då!